from Columbus, Ohio, this is the Get Business Credit YouTube channel with your host, Josh Van Horn. Subscribe now and hit the bell notification right now to stay up to date as soon as we release new business credit gems. Take it over, Josh.
Hey, what's up? It's Josh with the Get Business Credit YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Dun and Bradstreet. As most of you may know, Dun and Bradstreet is one of the top business credit reporting agencies out there. For those that don't know, there's 4 main business credit bureaus out there, and that is Experian Business, just like Experian Personal, but there's Experian Business. And then there's Dun and Bradstreet and Creditsafe and Equifax. So those are the 4 main business credit bureaus. In today's video, like I promised, I'm going to be going over how to get a Dun and Bradstreet number if you don't already have one for your business. I'm going to be showing you also how to get a Dun and Bradstreet number generated quickly, usually within 1 to 2 days. And I'm also going to be going over how to read a Dun and Bradstreet business credit report. And a lot of people keep talking about just Paydex score, getting an 80 Paydex score. I'm going to explain to you guys why you guys shouldn't just worry about the Paydex score. There's other scores that matter. Like I've told a lot of you guys, you can have a 95 Paydex score and still get denied for business credit lines. So before I get into that, if you guys could please hit the subscribe button and turn the bell notification on if you are not already a subscriber. If you are already a subscriber, please just hit that thumbs up like button. I'd really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to break this down into a few different things, but for those that don't already have a Dun and Bradstreet number, you can go to this site. It's dnb.com/duns-number.html. I'll have all the links in the description below. So you'll come to this site. First, you want to look up your company just to make sure that you don't already have a DUNS number. But if you're a brand new business that just started in the last couple of weeks, more than likely you don't have a DUNS number. Dun and Bradstreet sometimes will pull data from data aggregators such as LexisNexis. LexisNexis will pull the data from the Secretary of State and will submit it to Dun and Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian, and even Creditsafe business profiles. So just check and make sure you don't already have one. But if you don't already have one, you just request one. There's a button right here that says request a DUNS number. So we're going to go into that right now, just so I can show you guys. And for those that already have a DUNS number and want to know about the reporting and all the other information, just stay tuned. I'll get to that here in one moment. But anyways, you'll come to this page. And what you want to do is sign up. So you'll go right here. It says it's down for maintenance. Just my luck right when I'm recording a video. But anyways, it should be up when you watch this video. But there's another option. You can go to fedgov.dnb.com/web form. This is the quickest way to get a DUNS number generated for your business. This is kind of designated for those that plan on either bidding on government contracts or government grants. So this is the way that you can actually get your DUNS number very quick, because the standard way through the regular DUNS DNB site, sometimes that can take anywhere from a week to 4 weeks for them to issue your DUNS number. So you would just go right here and click that you want to request a DUNS number. You're going to click your country, obviously United States. And then you're going to fill out your information here, your business name, and it's going to check if you already have a DUNS number or not. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm not going to go through all that, but this is the option to get your DUNS number quick if you don't already have one. So anyways, we're going to get back to the report. So I'm going to show you guys some information about a DUNS sample report on how to read it and understand it and how you get approved for credit lines, business trade lines, For those that actually pull Dun and Bradstreet, a lot of financial institutions pull Experian Business. However, some do pull Dun and Bradstreet, or they pull Experian and Dun and Bradstreet at the same time. So this is pretty much what the paid premium Dun and Bradstreet report pretty much looks like. So it's going to have your company name here, and it's going to show your DUNS number, your address, and it's going to show a risk assessment. So to break this down, depending on how many trade lines you have, what type of business you're in, industry type of business, your SIC codes, all that information, and trade payments, payment history, all that being reported to Dun and Bradstreet by the trade line vendors is going to generate these formulas of calculation. So maximum credit recommendation, this is just a sample, it's 1.2 million. I'll get into that here in a minute. And then here's the Paydex score that everybody, focuses on. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, stop making that be your primary focus. Yes, you want to get a Paydex score generated, and it's best to have 80 or higher. Paydex score goes from 0 to 100. You need 3 to 4 trade lines reporting to Dun & Bradstreet to generate a Paydex score. If you have less than that, it's not going to generate a Paydex score. Just so you know that. So 1 is being the worst, or 0, I should say, and 100 is the best. But like I said, you can have a 95 Paydex score, or even say even 100, and you can still be denied business credit lines. There's other scores within Dun & Bradstreet that matter. So there's delinquency predictor percentile, that matters. Financial stress percentile, supplier evaluation risk. So we're going to break that down to each one. Like it says here, overall business risk. So it's going to give you a score rating here: low, low, moderate, 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 high, and high. So this business risk recommendation is basically all these scores combined is going to be generating this. And it's going to tell you too what Dun & Bradstreet thinks. So this is kind of like what your Uline, Quill, and other vendors are going to be seeing when they pull your business credit. And then here's the Paydex summary. So low risk is 100, high risk is 1. So having a 70 Paydex score is not bad. So when weighted by dollar amount, payments to supplier, average 15 days behind or beyond terms, valued is based, payments collected over the last 3 months. So that's one summary they're going to be looking at. And then they have another score that's breaking it down into 24 months. So it's the last 24 months on your highest credit limit. So it's going to be a factor if you only have, say, credit limits with, say, 5 vendors reporting to Dun & Bradstreet, and they're only $250 each. That's going to be weighted a lot less than, say, if you had 2 trade lines that were $1,000 dollar amount. So if that makes any sense, they look at the higher credit limit and usage than they do, say, 10 or 12 low dollar trade lines being reported. So this is a score based in the last 24 months. And then here's the Paydex score, like I said, of the last 24 months. 1 is high risk, 100 is low risk. So it's kind of equivalent to the personal side, like a FICO score of 850 would be 100 on Dun & Bradstreet. Next is based on DNB Paydex of, say, 69. That's what we're going to base it off of. Risk of slow pay, low to moderate. And it's going to tell the vendor payment behavior, 16 days beyond terms. So this is going to be how you pay. If you pay late, it's going to take an average of all your payments. So if you're paying early, 5 days early, 7 days early, that's what I recommend. Then you're not going to see this here, and it's going to show you as a low risk. But like I said, that's only one factor. Okay. And then it says here, business and industry trends. That's basis off of what type of business you're in. So this is the SIC code 7323. That's credit reporting services. That's your SIC code. Everyone's going to be different, of course, and each of those have a different risk score attached to those as well. So like car lots or, auto business and real estate business, investment business, those are all going to be high risk. Even if you do everything perfectly, you're still going to get some higher risk or not potentially the best score that you can get just because the type of business you're in is a high risk business. Not to say that you can't, get trade lines and get approved for things, business credit, but you're still going to be pinned down a few points because you're in a high risk business. So, how you're going to alleviate that is paying everything early, 7 days early. If it's a net 30 account, pay it 7 days early. If it's a revolving business account that's being reported, obviously keep the balance low or pay it off before it's due. So like right here, it's going to show, the industry medium, and it breaks it down right here. So the overall for the industry, the upper, the low, and then this is the sample company, obviously. And it's going to break it down the last 24 months. And then there's the delinquency. I can't talk today. Sorry, guys. Predictor score. So this one also, it's high risk is 1, low risk is 100. So this is the score that is looked at a lot more than just the Paydex score. So remember when I said you could have a 95 Paydex score? If you have a 95 Paydex score and you say you have a 20 score for delinquency predictor score, you're probably going to get declined or a very low credit limit. So I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. You have to factor in all these scores for, in particular, with Dun and Bradstreet. So if you have a good Paydex score, you need to make sure you're doing everything you can to improve these other 3 scores, like this one being one of them as well. So, so it's going to be like show you the probability of delinquency. I don't know why I can't say that word today. And then compared to businesses in Dun and Bradstreet, it's going to give you a raw score and the level of risk. And then this is the other one as well. Like I said, there's 4 scores with Dun and Bradstreet. Financial stress score, same thing. High risk is 1, low risk is 100. So you want to get this one as well. Obviously, the higher the number, close to 100 is possible. So how you can do that is paying everything early and on time. And if you have UCC filings, that's also going to be a signal. UCC filings aren't bad. They're not negative unless you're going delinquent on them. But if you have standard UCC filings, it's okay. You just don't want to have a lot of them because that's going to affect also your financial stress score, because it kind of lets say Citibank or Quill or Uline, whatever the trade line is, the business line of credit that's pulling your Dun and Bradstreet, they're going to be able to kind of predict based on how many UCC filings you have. It's going to show all that, So a lot of people get hung up on Facebook groups and YouTube thinking that it's just all Paydex. Paydex, in my opinion, I don't even pay attention to that too much. All these other scores within Dun and Bradstreet is what's really looked at by, say, Citibank and other financial institutions that give you business lines of credit. So then there's supplier valuation risk. So again, this one is kind of the opposite. So the best score is 1, high risk is 9. So it goes from 1 to 9. So you want to have a low risk score, obviously, and the best score is 1. So having 2 or 3, a score of 2 or 3 under supplier evaluation risk rating is good. So factors affect this score is, say, negative net worth, slow payment experiences, total number of payment experiences reported. So if you only have like 3 or 4 payment experiences, meaning you got these 3 vendors, 3 or 4 vendors, and you only used them once and you're not using them again, that's going to affect the score as well. And then also the business belongs to an industry with above average risk of ceasing operations or becoming inactive. So if you're in a high risk business, that overall the data that Dun and Bradstreet compiles with all the different businesses, they can tell which ones are more higher risk that are going out of business or are not paying their bills on time. So this score is also important. And with the sample report, it doesn't really show too much, but I think you guys get the gist of things. Okay, and then here's the trade payment summary. Overall payment behavior, like this one, says 16 days behind or beyond terms. That means 16 days on average with all the accounts that the sample report has. Then, it's on average, rolling average of 16 days beyond terms. So that doesn't mean that every single trade payment for the sample report or sample business is late. It's just the average overall of all the trade lines. And then it's going to show percentage of trades within terms, 68%. You want to keep that at 100%. That means you're paying everything on time or early. And then it's showing total trade experiences, 41. Of course, the higher the number is best. Largest high credit, 100,000 it shows here. And then average high credit says 26,000. That's going to be different for you, obviously. So, high credit is your credit limit and how much you're actually spending using. So if you get, like, say, a $10,000 credit line and you're only using $250, it's really only going to show that $250. So how you can boost a lot of these scores is obviously getting the trade lines, using them, especially if they're certain vendors you don't really like to buy from too much. Once every 3 months is fine, just to keep things active. But then you want to have at least 1 or 2 or 3, more the better, that have high usage, meaning that you use, say, $1,000. You charge $1,000 or $1,500. Those are good as long as you pay them on time, but those are the ones that you need to get the high recommended credit limit. So you need to show the business credit bureaus, such as Dun and Bradstreet, that you can handle high invoices. That's going to generate a higher score for all of these internal scores within Dun and Bradstreet. So here's kind of like what it's showing for trade payments by credit extended. So over 100,000, 50,000 to 100,000, 15,000 to 49,000, 5,000 to basically 15,000, 1,000 to 4,999, and then under 1,000. So if you guys just have nothing but under 1,000 as your usage and your limit, like I said, that's okay. But if you really want to get a perfect Dun and Bradstreet scores, low risk scores with all of them, not just Paydex, the other scores, like I said, matter. They're very important. So you want to have some of those being higher the dollar amount. So 1,000 to 4,999. And if possible, if your business can handle it or whatever, get ones that are in 5,000, 15,000, payments being reported like that, trade lines that have, higher dollar amount. Say you had like a Divvy card and you're using, say, 25,000. And then you have, say, 10 trade lines that Quail, Uline, Granger, all those that are, say, 1,000 or under. I can tell you right now, those 10 small trade lines are less valuable than the one divvy trade line that's being reported that's say $25,000. You know, the higher the dollar amount, is weighted a lot more. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. And then just going to show here basic things like trade payments by industry. So, business services, and this is the vendors that you're doing business with, financial services or business services, whatever it may be, it's going to show the number of payment experiences. So usually like for say Quill or Uline, it's going to be wholesale trade or office supply, and then it's going to show number of payment experiences. So for instance, if you just have one, say with Quill and Uline, it's going to only show 2 if you've only made one payment to each one. So you want to show a lot more payments over time, and that's going to increase all these other prediction scores that Citibank and everybody else looks at. Like I said, they're not just looking at Paydex. And it's going to show the, largest high credit. So, and it's going to break it all down. So then down here, it's going to show your trade lines as far as date of experience, payment status, prompt. That's going to show that you're paying either on time or you're paying early. And then months since last sale over here, you don't want it to say like between 6 and 12 months. You want it to say like 1 month or between say 3 and 4 months, between 4 and 5 months. That shows you're more active. And it's going to show your selling terms, net 30, whatever it may be, cash, revolving, net 14, net 60. So all these are going to go into the factors of all of the Dun and Bradstreet scores, not just the Paydex. It's going to go between all of the scores. It's a massive algorithm that they have, and all this data is computed by every single trade payment and trade line. So let me see if that's all here. And then it's going to show down here if you have any legal events like lawsuits, judgments, UCC filings. Like I said, UCC filings are not bad. Those are usually when you take out a loan on your business and a company just wants to let the Secretary of State in your state know that, they have gave you a large line of credit and they're just kind of protecting themselves. But like I said, they're not negative unless you don't pay them. And then it's going to show the company event, where it was registered at, the registration number, when the business was started. And then it's going to show any links between the business owner, if they have any type of relation to any other businesses or matched to any other businesses. Like say you own 2 different businesses and you're the CEO of both, it's going to probably show a link between both of those and Citibank or any of the vendors that pull Dun and Bradstreet. They should be able to see all that information, especially if you're a, say, co-owner in another company. The rest is kind of pretty much self-explanatory. So it's going to show the company overview, all this information. Like I said before on the Experian Business Credit Profile data videos that I put out. If you didn't catch those, make sure you go back and watch those. But this is also the data that you want to make sure it all matches the same exact way that Experian has it. Make sure everything is correct and updated, because also all these scores are a factor with the data that they have. So if it just has your company name and your mailing address and just a phone number, but it doesn't have if Dun & Bradstreet doesn't have a website or doesn't have principal name or the type of business that you're in, the SIC codes, if they don't have that information, your score is going to be lower on all those prediction scores within Dun & Bradstreet. So let me go to that real quick. I don't think I need to show you guys any of this. It's just sample stuff. So like I said, just to repeat it real quick. When you check your Dun and Bradstreet profile, and you have to pay for this directly with Dun and Bradstreet. I think they have one for like $30 or $40 a month. But if you have NAB, Business Boost, or whatever, then it's going to show you just the Paydex score. If you have one already and have enough trade lines, 3 or 4 trade lines reporting, then it will generate a Paydex score. But the only way to get all these other scores that are being looked at when you're trying to apply for business credit is signing up for either their credit builder or their Dun & Bradstreet. I think it's called Credit Signal, if I'm not mistaken. It's like $30 or $40 a month. And then you can see your other scores, like the credit limit recommendation for your company, the delinquency predictor percentile, financial stress percentile, supplier evaluation risk. So like I said, you want all these scores to be in the green, and then you should be good to apply for, higher and better trade lines of credit. So if you have, say, a high Paydex score, and then all these are in the orange or the red, you're probably not going to get approved for much. So you have to fine tune all this with trade lines. That's key. And obviously, like I said, the higher the trade lines you have, the better. The more payments, more utilization of each of those individual trade lines that are being reported, more consistent, is going to increase all these individual scores as well. But don't waste your money on trade lines that sell something either overpriced or you have no use for. Anyways, a lot of those don't even report to Dun & Bradstreet, but you got to strategically get the trade lines as you need them for your business and buy stuff that's useful for your business. Okay. If you guys have any questions, just put it in the comment section. I hope this video gave you guys a better understanding about how to read the premium Dun & Bradstreet business credit report. And like I said, this is the report that they're going to be looking at when, the financial institutions like Citibank and Citibank is like Home Depot, Office Depot, Office Max, among several others, business credit lines, even like say Capital One, Trade Credit. They're going to be looking at this information, and you need to make sure that you have all of your ducks in order. So if you already have several trade lines with Dun & Bradstreet, I would suggest you, if you don't already have the Dun & Bradstreet paid premium version, like I said, I think it's $39 a month. I suggest you to get that, especially if you have, say, a good Paydex score, but you're still getting denied. I would say get this so you can actually see your full Dun & Bradstreet business credit profile, and you can work on the things that are lower scores, these other 3 individual scores. And they give you recommendations on what you need to do as well. Okay. If you don't already have NAV Business Boost, check the link in the description below. It reports to the Dun & Bradstreet. Use my link, and it reports as a trade payment to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. It reports as a cash payment, but it's still good because even a cash payment, cash trade line still is factored into Dun & Bradstreet. So anyways, that's all for right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Till next time, you guys take care. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.